Put in a word for that Swedish guy. But they're getting a lot of strange climate ideas over in Europe. In Germany, lawmakers have introduced a bill that would increase a 19% value added tax to all the meat in the country. And in the United Kingdom, Goldsmiths University in London has banned all beef, all burgers entirely, in the name of the planet. Make no mistake, there are people who want to do the same thing in America until we all have to get our protein by eating mealworms and grasshoppers. I love a grasshopper à l'orange this time in the evening. Ashley Byrne is Associate Director of PETA. She joins us. Now, PETA actually is in favour of a meat tax, is that correct?
Well, PETA has been an advocate for a meat tax for many years because of the fact that we already have similar taxes on products like soda, cigarettes, and alcohol for their effect on human health. And we have a similar tax on products that are harmful to the environment. So when you look at the fact that the meat industry, that meat consumption is a top contributor to the diseases killing Americans, like heart disease, cancer, diabetes, and stroke, and it's one of the primary culprits behind every major environmental concern, whether you're talking about climate change, water pollution, air pollution, or deforestation, we think we should be following a similar path for meat.
Is that the case? I mean, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez obviously went very big when she launched the Green New Deal on the bovine flatulence, but you don't actually. That doesn't apply to all animals. There was a survey at the University of Waterloo in Canada, for example, that suggested that using pig methane, you could actually use that as fuel, and it would be, in fact, more environmentally friendly than, say, natural gas.
Well, if we want to get a real picture of the environmental impact of the meat and animal agriculture industry as a whole, we need to look beyond the methane and beyond climate change. We need to look at things like air pollution and water pollution and the fact that deforestation is happening at an alarming rate to create farmland for grazing.
But that's mostly in Africa and other parts of the southern hemisphere where they've got a population explosion. I mean, essentially, we're reforesting in North America and the rest of the developed world.
But we're losing giant chunks of the Amazon, and that is to satisfy global demand for meat. And also, again, if you look at things like water pollution, right here in the United States, the EPA says that animal agriculture is the leading culprit behind water pollution. And the reason for that is clear. The fact that the animals raised and killed for food in the United States produce 10 times more excrement than the entire human population in this country. So we really have an environmental crisis on our hands because of the meat industry that goes beyond climate concerns.
Just to go back to that survey I mentioned, the University of Waterloo, for example, seems to think that instead of just leaving it there to run into the river running alongside the field, which is what you're talking about, that we can actually take that stuff and power our homes and our motor vehicles with it. Isn't that innovation? Isn't that more likely to be beneficial to the planet than simply abolishing what's a staple of the human diet?
Well, it's not, because there are other concerns. For instance, the fact that we use tremendous resources, water, food, land, to produce meat, and it only yields us a small amount compared to what we're putting in. The resource waste is incredible. And when you look at the fact that actually we have alternatives now, like the Beyond Burger, that have the taste of meat, the texture of meat. They're delicious, and their impact on the environment is so much lower. Why would we deal with these industries that are just dirty and outdated, not to mention cruel, when we have better options?
Isn't it because it's a popular taste? You know, you look at the big chains here, Burger King, McDonald's, Wendy's, and that's the other point here. isn't this a regressive tax? That the people who like, arugula on a bed of arugula are the elites at the fancy salad restaurants in Beverly Hills and Martha's Vineyard, and that it's the man in the street who's getting a burger at lunch. So this meat tax would be a regressive tax on the poorest people in society.
Well, first of all, the man on the street is looking for plant-based options now too, which is why restaurants like Burger King and Carl's Jr. are adding vegan options to their menu. But we also have to look at health concerns, and that's another reason that a lot of people advocate for a tax on meat. Again, meat is one of the leading contributors to some of the top killers of Americans. And the fact is that right now, meat is heavily subsidized. And so the taxpayer is footing the bill for the poor decisions of people who are choosing to eat meat, even though they know it's bad for their health and bad for the environment.
Well, we'll watch this one, Ashley. I saw that fella at the ball game this morning who was holding a burger in one hand and caught the ball in the other. So that seemed to me to sum up the situation. The Trump